the first thing you're going to do is, on your table there's a card. Hold on. One person from each pair has got fertilization, and the other person from the pair should have the dolly technique. So you'll have, sorry Vanessa, you'll have 1 minute to just sit with your card and make sense and rehearse inside your head either fertilization or the dolly technique. And after you've had that minute to just study the card, we'll ask the people with the fertilization card to explain fertilization to their partner, and then we'll swap and we'll give just 2 minutes for the people with the dolly technique card to try to explain it to their partner. And the partners can ask each other questions, but let somebody talk and try and... So the idea here is to just try to help you to review what you know and understand from GCSE biology, from GCSE science, and to just get familiar with it for the court case. Okay, so it's just an exercise in doing that. Have you got your tips? Okay, so you've got 1 minute to study your card and have a think about the tips of success, starting now. Okay, folks, so if you've got card A, fertilization, will you please have a go at explaining, using the technical terms that are in the diagram, have a go at explaining fertilization to the person next to you.
Mix together, and then once form the zygote. Once the zygote is formed, it splits.
And could the people with card B please now explain the dolly technique to their partner? A couple of tips for between now and the court case. Because in court, it's not normal to use a diagram to aid an explanation. You just have your voice. So you're going to need to have a look at those diagrams in your packs, because they're all in your packs. Get familiar with them and make something like some flashcards or some prompt cards so that you can confidently do what you've just done and explain the process, but without a diagram. Okay? Right? I would like those bits of paper back, so I'll get those in a minute. The next thing we want you to do is a little bit trickier, because this is less familiar biology. We want you to explain the mitochondrial donation techniques. This time, we're going to ask pairs to work together and use the Play-Doh to make a model to show and work out their model. Half the pairs are going to do the maternal spindle transfer technique. The other half are going to do the pronuclear transfer technique, and then we're going to get you together in fours, and you're going to explain, the pairs are going to explain to the other pair. That's what we're going to do. Okay? Just 2 bits of information. Just to remind you, there is DNA in the nucleus of the cell. But in this diagram, it's not called a nucleus. The DNA is in that spindle. Okay, so that's where the DNA from the nucleus is. And the other piece of information you need to have clear is that there is DNA in the mitochondria. Only a tiny bit, but that's key to you understanding why these techniques are taking place. Okay? I'm not going to give you any more information. In your pack, there is a diagram, and I'll just very quickly tell you which you're doing. So, can you do maternal spindle? Can you do pronuclear?
Only this one.
You can ask us questions as you're doing this. If you get stuck with anything, please ask.
Is that like yeah.
Okay. Okay. If you need to move, sort of, one of you needs to come around here so you can talk a bit more easily, that's okay. Okay, you've got 4 minutes to get to the point where you've got a model that you can use to describe the process to somebody else. 4 minutes. Are you all right? Any questions? Anything that's confusing or puzzling you? You think you've got a grip on it? Good, excellent. Are you chaps all right up here? Yes, yeah. Don't forget, you don't need a model for every bit. You can move things in and out of your model. Don't forget that if you haven't got time to make like a model for every bit, you've got time to move things in and out of your model, yeah? All right, are you happy? Happy, I remember that, they said. Okay, are you guys all right? Right, chaps, when I ask you to pair up, will you just turn your chairs around and work with them? Lads, when I ask you to make fours, will you just turn your chairs around and work with Catherine and Shahida? Thank you. Ladies, when I ask you to pair up Emma and Megan, can you pair up with Declan and Cameron? Lads, when I ask you to make fours, well, you'll make a five. Can Cameron and Mohammed, can you work with Greg, Jared and Katie? And ladies, when you make a four, can Genevieve and Jessica, could you come round here and make a four? Okay, folks. Right. Can you now carefully slide your model so that you can share it to make a 4 or a 5 in the case of the people over here? And can the pro-nuclear transfer people go first? And can they try to describe and explain the process using as much key vocabulary as they can to the partners?
Same idea. You would put lines like both sides with this, but both. Not necessary. Doesn't really matter. Donuts. This one has to be the father, but if they want a child to be their child.
Right, and Vanessa and I are massively, massively impressed with what you can produce and how quickly you can produce it. Again, this has just been a little bit of familiarising yourself with some of the vocabulary, with some of the parts of the process, and also whether there are any questions in your head, anything that you think you don't understand or that you need to check your understanding of before you go into the parliamentary debate. So don't expect to have completely understood fertilisation, the Dolly technique, maternal spindle transfer and pro-nuclear transfer instantly and be able to remember them. Again, when you do your parliamentary debate, you won't be allowed photographs, images. Yes, I was lucky enough to be in Parliament the day that they were debating the 3-parent family bill. rather than the... And it was very interesting to see the MPs discussing the science just using briefing notes. So one of the things, again, that you might need to do in your preparation is to make yourself some prompts, some flashcards, or some briefing notes. Okay? So you've got the information, you've had a little quick chance to rehearse some of it and check your own understanding, but you will need, depending on what your role is in those debates, in the next lot of sessions, you will need a way of helping yourself to put the information across that doesn't rely on a diagram. Okay? I said don't worry if you haven't completely understood it so far. There will be some of this science and other science in Mary Herbert's lecture later. So again, making notes about the science, jotting ideas down as you're listening to that to help you to lead into the court case and to help you to lead into the parliamentary debate will be really useful.